I'm Maya Sterling, 29 years old. 3 years ago, my husband left me waiting in a first-class lounge at JFK Airport while he took his pregnant mistress to an ultrasound appointment. He thought I was just his quiet orphan wife, the kind of woman who would cry in silence, accept a little money, and disappear without making a scene. He was wrong. By the end of that day, his company was under investigation. His mistress was exposed in front of the entire internet, and the name Sean Thornton became a joke in every boardroom in New York. Before I tell you what happened next, let me take you back to the morning everything ended. Before we get into this, please take a moment to like and subscribe, but only if this story truly resonates with you. And drop your location and local time in the comments. I want to know where you are right now. That morning was our 3rd wedding anniversary. The sun was coming through the tall windows of the VIP lounge, soft and golden, the kind of light that made everything look expensive. My suitcase was beside me. My passport was on the table. In my hand was a first-class ticket to Paris. Sean had booked the window seat for me. Even while planning to abandon me, he had made the arrangement look elegant. 2 hours earlier, he had sent me a message. There's an urgent mergers and acquisitions deal at the company. Go through security first. I'll meet you as soon as I'm done. That was Sean's gift. Clean words. Polished lies. What he didn't know was that I already knew the urgent deal had a name. Chloe Vance. She was 26, beautiful, ambitious, and pregnant. Sean was at Mount Sinai Hospital with her, holding her hand while a doctor told them their baby was developing normally. For 3 years, Chloe had been sending me photos. Not messages, not threats, just photos. Photos of her kissing my husband in his car. Photos outside hotels. Photos of her wearing his shirt in an apartment he paid for. Photos designed to break me slowly, one image at a time. At first, they worked. I cried quietly. I locked myself in bathrooms. I bit the back of my hand so Sean wouldn't hear me. Then I washed my face, smiled in the mirror, and played the role he liked best. Gentle, patient, obedient. But pain becomes useless after a while. It does not bring loyalty back. It does not erase betrayal. It does not make a man respect you. So I stopped crying. And I started documenting. By 2 o'clock that afternoon, I had printed 178 photographs on glossy paper at a shop near the airport. The man behind the counter looked at me like he wanted to ask questions, but he didn't. Money buys many things in New York. Silence is one of them. I put the photographs into a manila envelope. Then I opened the red folder in my bag. Inside were divorce papers. I had already signed them. Under assets, I wrote one sentence. I leave with nothing from Sean Thornton. Because I did not want his money. I wanted his mask. I called Charles, the manager of my private staff. Is the penthouse ready? His voice was calm. Yes, Miss Sterling. The photos are on the main wall. The digital frames are looping. The projector activates when the master bedroom door opens. Good, I said. Then I handed the signed divorce papers to Sarah, my assistant. Put these on the coffee table, right in the center. Sarah hesitated. Boss, are you really not going to see him one last time? I looked out at the runway. No, I said. He doesn't deserve that. Across the city, Sean was helping Chloe into his Mercedes. He was wearing a Tom Ford suit, smiling like a man who thought life had finally rewarded him. Chloe leaned into his shoulder. Do you think Maya will find out? Sean laughed. She's probably at the airport right now, reading some article about being a supportive wife. Chloe giggled. Don't say that. She's still your wife. Wife? Sean said. She's an orphan with no background. If she hadn't been so clean and submissive, I never would have married her. That sentence was recorded. Not by me, by the car. Sean always loved expensive technology. He just never understood that expensive technology remembers. At 3:20, he dropped Chloe at her terminal. He kissed her forehead and promised that soon they would not have to hide anymore. Then he called me. I didn't answer. He texted, Have you gone through security yet? I didn't reply. Finally, when he called again, I picked up. Where are you? He snapped. Terminal 4, I said. Delta Sky Club. I'm 40 minutes away. Wait for me. No rush, I said. Drive safe. There was silence on the line. He was confused. A woman who had waited 2 hours should have sounded angry, hurt, desperate. But Sean never studied me closely enough to recognize calm as a warning. At 3:50, he entered our Tribeca penthouse. The first thing he noticed was the smell of printer ink. Then he saw the living room wall. Our wedding portrait was gone. In its place were 178 photographs. His face, Chloe's face, hotels, cars, restaurants, private elevators, every lie arranged neatly like wallpaper. "What the hell is this?" he shouted. His first reaction was not shame, it was rage. He stormed into the master bedroom. The motion sensor triggered the projector. A video appeared across the wall. Chloe was lying on our bed, smiling at the camera. "Sean," she said in the video, "what should we name our baby?" His own voice answered, soft and affectionate, "Whatever you want." That was when he saw the red folder. He opened it with trembling hands. Divorce agreement. Party A, Sean Thornton. Party B, Maya Jones. At the bottom was my signature, steady and clean. He called me immediately. When I answered, he was breathing hard. "Maya, have you lost your mind?" I smiled into the phone. "Have you seen it? Where did you get those photos?" "Ask Chloe," I said. "She sent them to me herself." The line went quiet. "No," he whispered. "She wouldn't. She did. For 3 years." I paused. "Open the closet." He did. All my clothes were gone. In their place were stacks of photographs, each labeled with the date, time, hotel, and transaction record linked to the trip. The earliest photo was from our first wedding anniversary. That night, Sean had come home at 2 a.m. and told me I was the best thing that had ever happened to him. The photograph proved where he had really been. His phone slipped from his hand. I heard it hit the floor. "Sean," I said quietly, "you thought I knew nothing. I knew everything." "How?" His voice cracked. "I know the apartment you rented for her. I know the monthly transfers. I know the doctor's appointment today. I know she's 12 weeks pregnant. I know you planned to text me from Paris and tell me the marriage was over." He said nothing. Then I gave him the sentence that finally made him understand. "You never knew who you married." "What does that mean?" "It means if you want a clean divorce, sign the papers. If you want a public collapse, come back to the airport." Then I ended the call. He drove back to JFK like a man running toward a fire he had started himself. By the time he reached the VIP lounge, his tie was crooked, his hair was damp with sweat, and his perfect CEO mask had already cracked. He saw me sitting by the window, drinking coffee. "Maya," he said, too loudly. Several people turned. I closed my magazine. "You made it. Sit down." He slammed both hands on the table. "What exactly are you trying to do?" "Divorce you. You covered my house in photos." "Yes. You think this is normal?" "No," I said. "I think cheating on your wife for 3 years and planning to abandon her at an airport is abnormal. I just made it visible." His jaw tightened. "How much do you want?" I laughed softly. That was Sean. Even at the end, he thought money was the biggest thing in the room. I pulled a black card from my purse and placed it on the table. His face changed. He recognized it instantly. Not because he had one, because one of his investors had spent years trying to get one. "Where did you get that?" he whispered. "I've used it for pocket money since I was 16. He stared at me. "My name isn't Maya Jones," I said. He looked confused. "My name is Maya Sterling." For a moment, he forgot how to breathe. Sterling Enterprises was not just a company. It was a dynasty. Real estate, finance, healthcare, technology, logistics. $100 billion empire. Sean's entire startup survived because a minor Sterling subsidiary had given him a vendor contract. He had not married a powerless orphan. He had married the only daughter of Arthur Sterling. "You're lying," he said, but his voice had no strength. "No," I said. "You just never looked." When I met Sean in college, I was living under my mother's maiden name. The Sterling family had a tradition. Every heir had to spend their university years without the family name, without private money, and without protection. It was supposed to teach us character. It taught me something better. It taught me how people behave when they think you have nothing. Sean had loved my lack of background. He had called it simplicity, purity, peace. But what he really loved was control. A wife with no family is easier to isolate. A wife with no money is easier to scare. A wife with no name is easier to replace. I stood up and walked toward the private side of the lounge. There were cameras set up there, lights, a laptop, legal observers, 2 security officers. Sean stopped walking. What is this? A choice, I said. Sign the divorce papers and leave quietly, or explain yourself live. The broadcast title was already prepared. Billionaire heiress exposes cheating husband. The viewer count was climbing. 5,000, 10,000, 30,000. Sean lunged toward the laptop, but security stopped him. "Step back, Mr. Thornton," one guard said. That was when I sat in front of the camera. I did not scream. I did not cry. I did not insult him. I simply told the truth. I showed the hotel records, the bank transfers, the messages, the blurred photographs. Every file had been reviewed by my lawyers before the broadcast started. Then I revealed the part Sean feared most. "This is also now a corporate matter," I said to the camera. "Mr. Thornton is under investigation for attempting to leak confidential Sterling data to a competitor." Sean's knees nearly gave out. He knew exactly what I meant. For 6 months, he had been secretly accessing files from my laptop. He thought he was stealing core metrics from Sterling projects. But every file he touched had been planted. Fake numbers, fake models, fake forecasts. He had sold garbage to people dangerous enough to punish him for it. "You set me up," he whispered. "No," I said. "You stole. I documented. There is a difference." Then I opened Chloe's messages. Not the private ones, the relevant ones. A group chat from the day after my wedding. Chloe had written, "Secured the bag. His wife is a nobody. Once I have him hooked, she's gone." 4 months earlier, after the pregnancy test, she wrote, "Maya won't fight. She has nobody." The chat moved so fast on the live stream that the words became a blur. She was the bridesmaid? Sean is finished. She really thought Maya had no one. Then I showed one final document, Chloe's bank records. For 2.5 years, she had received monthly payments from Marcus Thorne, Sean's biggest client and quietest rival. The memo line said one word, retainer. Chloe had not fallen into Sean's life by accident. She had been placed there. Sean stared at the screen like his whole body had turned hollow. The woman he threw away his marriage for had been using him. The baby he was celebrating might not even have been his. The data he thought he had sold might destroy him. The wife he thought was powerless had been the only person in the room with enough power to save him, and he had spent 3 years calling her worthless. When the broadcast ended, the peak viewer count was 830,000. Sarah handed me water backstage. "Boss," she said, "you own the top 3 trends." I nodded. I did not feel happy. That surprised me. For 3 years, I had imagined this moment. I thought revenge would feel hot and bright. I thought I would feel victorious. But all I felt was quiet. Sean tried to grab my wrist as I walked out. "Maya, please. I was wrong." I looked down at his hand. That hand had held mine at our wedding. That hand had adjusted my necklace before charity dinners. That hand had signed apartment leases for another woman. I removed his fingers one by one. "No, Sean," I said. "You were not wrong. You were exactly who you are." His eyes filled with panic. "Do you think you won?" I stopped, but I didn't turn around. "I don't need to win," I said. "I just need everyone to stop believing your lie." Within 72 hours, Thornton Tech lost 2 major contracts. The board suspended Sean pending investigation. Sterling's legal department filed formal complaints with federal authorities. Marcus Thorne denied everything until Chloe's records surfaced, and then his own wife publicly announced she was leaving him. Chloe tried to go live from a hospital parking lot and call herself a victim. The internet believed her for about 6 hours. Then my team released the financial audit. After that, she disappeared from every platform. As for Sean, he signed the divorce papers 11 days later. He asked for a private meeting. I refused. He sent flowers. I donated them. He sent a letter. I returned it unopened. People asked me if I hated him. I didn't. Hatred requires too much attention. I had already given him 3 years of my life. I was not giving him my peace too. 6 months later, I moved into my own apartment overlooking the Hudson. Not the family mansion, not the penthouse. Mine. On Sunday mornings, I make coffee in a quiet kitchen with pale stone counters and a little basil plant by the window. Sometimes Sarah comes over. Sometimes my father visits and pretends not to worry about me. Sometimes I sit alone, and the silence feels safe. That is the part people never understand. Freedom is not always loud. Sometimes freedom is waking up and realizing no one is lying beside you. No one is measuring your worth by your obedience. No one is waiting for you to become smaller so they can feel powerful. I did not get revenge. Revenge is destruction. What I got was proof. Proof that I was never the weak one. Proof that being quiet does not mean being blind. Proof that people who underestimate you often hand you the exact evidence you need. If you are watching this and someone has made you feel easy to replace, I want you to remember something. Your worth does not begin when they finally see it. It was there the whole time. They just weren't worthy of seeing you. And if this story resonated with you, drop a comment. Tell me your story, or just let me know you're here. Because sometimes the most powerful thing in the world is realizing you were never alone. As for Sean, he called me last week. I didn't answer. Maybe I will someday. Maybe I won't. But for the first time in my life, it is my choice.